It's the Love of the Game podcast. And y'all already know what time it is. When we bring a champion to the building, we brought the ACC champion to the building. I think y'all already know what time it is. Y'all already know what type of podcast this gonna be, dog. we ain't playing around. And just to prove it, I ain't showing no favorites, man. Like I ain't even bitter about the fact that y'all won the ACC championship. My Louisville Cardinals didn't, Chief. I ain't even mad at you, dog.
Here you go.
I know.
Are you surprised?
I appreciate the honesty, Chief. I appreciate the honesty.
Hey, man, we have the OG, the big homie, the gorilla, Coach CY in the building, kicking it with the fellas today.
Man, I miss y'all boys.
Big homie, what's good with you?
October now.
Hey, you had some work to do. You had some work to do, Chief.
We're busy.
What was that first date, Trey? What was the first date?
Hey, man, October 27th. October 27th was the day, and you made some predictions on that show that just so happened. October 27th at 6 p.m. OG came on the show and spit some game to us, dog, and some kind of way, somehow, some way, a lot of it came true. I don't know what happened.
Listen, I'm gonna behave. I promise. I'm gonna keep some sort of professionalism. But I am gonna say, I told y'all boys, you gonna think I'm a psychic. I told y'all that. Devin Vassell, Patrick Williams, regular season titles.
You called it.
Felt good.
Hey man,
yeah.
I know people thought I was crazy when I came on the show, but it was a good year.
Hey, see why I feel you, man. They thought I was crazy when I was calling about Duluth gonna win the state championship.
Duluth?
Not Duluth, my bad. Definitely not
what you
Duluth.
talking
Touchdown.
You had a long day today, like I said.
Hey man, I think Bryce called my internet company and said, "Hey man, make sure Metlock stuff don't work for the podcast tonight."
You been doing all that talking, now look at you. Talking about my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Bryce, your Wi-Fi,
hey, man.
Your Wi-Fi is jumping, baby. You clear as day.
Yes.
Say nothing about
they fixed yours, Bryce.
I moved it to a different spot in the house. That's probably why.
Bryce got that good Ritz Carlton $12.99.
Hey, they know how I do. They know how I do, man. Shoot.
Hey, Coach, don't let Bryce fool you, Coach. This is the first time he been clear all season. Bryce said, "CY coming, dog. I gotta get right, baby. I gotta get right."
He tricked me. All I know is he's so fresh and clean right now. That's all I know.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I gotta give Bryce his credit, man. I went through some archives and saw an old 2021 Game Elite video where I used to coach, and I kept thinking about the 2021 class. Hey, Bryce, you had that thing.
That's where it started.
You set the bar. You set the bar out early.
That's where it started.
If you really think you're doing something in that 2021 class, you might want to think again because B. Will do got it on lock.
Hey,
he do got 2021 on lock.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Johnny Floyd credit too now.
Yeah, he has
some of the top kids. AJ White, Andrew McConnell. He put Ashton Malone. He had those kids early on.
Camden Blunt, Matthew Cleveland, Madison Durr, a whole bunch of kids playing football now. They don't play basketball anymore, but yeah, Sutton Smith, who's that? Denmark. It's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, man. So Coach, I had some questions. Now that we talking about kids and all this stuff, Coach, we are in a very peculiar situation this summer that we find ourselves in. Everybody under normal circumstances, you would be with us in the SUV TV studio. Right. But we're all at home. And depending on what state you live in across the country, it's looking like we could continue to be at home for the summer. Now we know that you don't win the ACC just by being a good recruiter alone. You have to be a great basketball strategist to come and win a league like that with Roy Williams and Coach K and the rest of those guys in that league. But we know you, or first were introduced to you as being one of the best recruiters in the country. How does recruiting change as we talk about this 2021 class and 2020? How does it change for you if the summer actually doesn't happen? If we don't get those games, how does that change your strategy recruiting?
So for us here at Florida State, it's good news and bad news. We're one of the programs identify early and plant their roots early. So our top guys in one, we've had our roots dug in them for a while, and a pretty in-depth fashion in 21. So we feel like we're out ahead of some people. And now that we've planted our roots and built some relationships, now we got to put the hurricane shelters up and life when everybody else wakes up and find out what we found out, what we know. That's kind of how we operated. You know, I'm from Miami. You know, things a year. So preparing for. With that being said, where it hurts us. So in that regard, us shut down will hurt us. It may help us because some of these young talented kids may commit just because they realize they won't be able to go anywhere else, and they got a relationship with us, and they're gonna go ahead and say yes. So we are usually able to find a couple diamonds in the rough out there late and kind of pay our insurance in case we don't get one of these top guys, and we're not going to be able to do that in this situation. And April is huge because April we've used to add to our list. You know, we kind of babysit the guys that we've been on, but in April we're kind of making the rounds trying to see, can we find a guy that pops up late, you know, and guys develop at all times. That's why, you know, I've talked to you guys about that before. We are continuously watching. You know, there's a kid that you might have saw last July who's grown an inch and a half, walkers, did some push-ups, gained 18 pounds, worked on his J. Now he's a little better in April than he was last July. You know, so we're always looking for that guy in April and looking for that guy in July, for that matter. You don't usually find that guy in July, very rarely, but you find him a lot in April. And then you can kind of ride him into July. The period being shut down does hurt us in that regard. We feel good about our top guys who we've been dug into for a while. United States of America is based on insurance. You know what I mean? Home insurance, car insurance, life insurance. You get in a car accident, you ain't paid your car insurance. You about to bust that jailhouse wide open. Your life is so I would have liked to have been able to go out in April and pay my insurance. But now it's going to put more pressure on us to get the top guys on our board because we hadn't been able to get out and evaluate and find some. So it's good and bad for us. It's a tough. I hate it for the kids more than anything else. I mean, there's some big time players that we're going to blossom and bloom and develop that may not be seen, and hopefully by word of mouth and film and high school coaches calling, AAU coaches calling, and people like myself, some of these kids are still getting an opportunity. Because to be honest, and I want to take time out to say this, you know, I want to. My prayers are out to everybody and their families, praying that the man upstairs wraps his arms around each and every one of you and your families, and just keep your healthy, safe, and strong. You know, I don't think enough people are taking this virus seriously. I mean, it's people out there that's healthy on Monday and gone on Friday.
Exactly.
I think we all gonna have to really just suck it up and social distance and listen to what these people saying.
Yeah.
Listen to what I watch the news. You know, family and my kids. You know, 2 girls in the headlock just now. They snuck out of here while I was laying down and went to the pet store and didn't have on the mask. You know what I mean? I was in a panic for 30, 45 minutes. You know, just kids not taking it. So I'm praying for everybody and their families and hoping that we all come out of this safe. I realistically don't think anything will get back to normal till around August. Just my observation, watching every channel and reading everything I can. I don't think it's going to be an April, to be honest.
And so you say that, CY, and I know we talk about recruiting, but I'm also thinking about the guys you have coming back. And we all know this time would be kind of big for development too. Now you get your hours during the summer. Yeah, you get your hours during the summer at a D1 program, and you know that's how your Devin Vassils got better. That's how all the guys that you've had on campus get better. That's a huge impact to your program.
No question. I mean, we got some guys that's on the verge of being pros that needed this summer. You know, we have a big kid named Boston Coprovisa. The next Draymond Green, a kid named Raquan Gray. You know, we got MJ Walker that's on fire right now. Wow, like this, I can't believe this happened. You know, for him, because you know, for MJ, the light is coming on, and he's about to take it. You know, and he's calling me and texting me all the time. Saying, and I'm like, hey, man, we got to take this seriously. You know, so I hate those guys. You know, Anthony Polite and why will. I mean, we got guys that are really starting to turn the corner in the program that really did need this summer. And we just going to have to figure it out. You know, we're going to have to figure it out. The most important thing right now is that everybody just doesn't continue to pass it around and stay healthy.
That's for sure. I think all of us, we kind of have to do our part the best that we can. Like you said, Coach, to number one, to educate kids as much as possible to take it serious. Right? There's still a lot of things that I feel like kids can try to do to try to get better. I mean, you know, you may not be able to get in the weight room, but you can try to take care of your body. You know, kids, you got to get out there, man. You got to do an old school style. You got to get out there and run. You got to put the miles in. You can, you know,
great time. I've been encouraging our guys, especially my own children. I think this is the time to really get out there and improve your athleticism. You know, just really working on your body, quickness and agility drills, explosion drills, footwork. I think if you can constantly things in this time period, you can really make a jump. Really attacking the strength, the quickness, footwork, and explosion drills. You know, I've tried to do that with my own children right now, just to keep them. I got my daughter who's home, you know, getting ready for her sophomore year at Carolina, and here in the grass every day, and in the garage every day, just really working on her footwork, her agility, her explosiveness, and working on ball handling drills. But it's a tough pill for everybody. I mean, I'm guilty. It's tough on. I feel bad because I was devastated. We were going to win the ACC tournament. We felt like we were going to have to make a run and win the national title. I had already in my mind plans. 26 years I've been waiting as coach title to get the opportunity to do. I still own a home in Atlanta out in Douglasville. My mom and dad live there. Have my parents there at the Final Four right there in Atlanta. So when the news came down that they were canceling everything, I mean, I was teary-eyed. You know what I mean? I was devastated. But now, as time has gone by, you realize that they made the right move. And it's a serious. I hate it for the singers. My heart goes out to them. I hate it for all the singers. A lot of these recruits, these kids that are rising singers, that this was their last AAU season. My heart goes out for them. I hope figure out and do to make things better for them.
And that's perfect timing, Coach. One thing that I did want to bring up is we all have to do what we can do. And I think for our show, right, we always take a personal responsibility to try to help kids in any way that we possibly can, the best way that we can. The only way that I could think of is to try to show and shout out kids on our show.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of tweets that went out this week from Hoops Hidden Gems that, Big Dave is, a friend of ours. It's been close to us. Guy that really works hard, watches a lot of tape, goes to see a lot of kids play, tries to help kids find situations. But I've done some work with him to start getting film, start reaching out to kids, start reaching out to coaches from all over the country. We're going to start showing those highlights on our show. No favoritism, no politics. We just want to help 2020 kids find a home, because if we can step in and try to fill in the gap in any way possible, to help a kid possibly find a home, even whether it's prep, whether it's, JUCO, NAIA, Division II, wherever that level is, we want to try to do that. So starting on Sunday, I put the pressure on myself, and I started watching game film yesterday, started gathering highlights from kids yesterday, that we're going to start showing that on our show. We're going to try to highlight a couple of kids every episode. So every Thursday, every Sunday night, you're going to get our take on a couple of kids. To submit yourself, you can go to Love of the Game Pod on Twitter. You can go to Jim Hoops on Twitter. You can hit up, I don't know how many people Huff on his inbox.
I already got people still think I'm at the college level, man.
But I will say that reach out to us, all of us, Log, myself, whoever, reach out to us on Twitter. Send us your film, right? I like full game film. I'll take highlights, but I like full game film. But also include your GPA and your test scores, because the coaches will not want to hear from us without that information. But we want to be a part of the solution instead of just, talking about the problem. Now, here's one thing I would say to everybody watching and to everybody scrambling to get their game film or highlights ready, thinking that we can send it to CY and we can get you an offer. Guys like CY and guys at that level are at that level for a reason. They're extremely intelligent and they're great at their job. So you are not going to fool him into an offer. Let me just say that. Kids, after we talk about you on the show, if somebody reaches out to you, let me help you understand what they're going to ask you for. You're going to have to verify that GPA. You're going to have to send a transcript. You're going to have to fill out a FAFSA form. You can't play the system that way. So please be honest, because that is going to give us the best ability to help you. You're not going to be able to lie about how many points a game you averaged and all that stuff. That is not going to help you. Sending us game film, sending us highlights, letting us shout you out, telling the truth, being honest, and being gracious with every coach, no matter the level, that reaches out to contact you will help you, because you don't know who is in their circle, who they're friends with, who they know, who, if it doesn't work out with them, they may send your information to another coach. So we definitely want to fill in the gap. We want to help wherever we can. Please reach out to us and we'll start showing some of that film from kids and talking about you as much as we possibly can. On Sunday night will be the first night that we do it. So that's the little bit that I feel like that we can do as a podcast to try to help fill in the gap.
All right, CY, I got something for you. This is for the past 2 weeks, I've had like 3 of your guys just, kill it. And when I mean kill it, they have killed our virtual roundtables, our Next Up series for the MCA of Georgia. Steve Smith killed rebounding last week. Persian killed the Amoeba defense today. Chris Kreider killed the recruiting process today. Man, you had one hell of a staff at Georgia Southern when you were down there. Man, it was talk a little bit about why, when you were a head coach, what you were looking for.
I got all of them jobs and I lost.
But what you were looking for when you hired those guys, man? Because we got a lot of guys that listen to us and they want to make that step up. So kind of just talk us through what you thought when you were hiring those guys, what you were looking for in an assistant coach back in that time.
We still got you, CY.
Might have lost him.
I think
I'll hear me because it's kind of static.
You got to go get some of that Bryce bandwidth.
Hey man, you gotta go basic. You gotta go.
Everybody, can you hear me?
All right, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Can you?
We can hear you now. CY.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can y'all? All right, we good now.
All right.
So to answer your question, that's a great question. The toughest thing to do in our profession is to hire. When I was hiring for my staff, there was a couple things. I wanted, just like a player, I wanted a high character gym rat. A guy that was about the right things, had an unbelievable amount of professionalism, and understood that wherever they went, they were representing the program and me. 2, I think the first thing is I wanted somebody that was a cop. I am the job. Now that's hard to find. A lot of people say it.
A little bit.
You good?
But what I was saying,
you good, Coach?
I want somebody that's a cop. I am the job. Before I wrecked job, That's what I want. I got 2 phones. My phone rings every 8 seconds. Some people get upset with me because it's hard to get me, but I'm always on the phone. If you call this phone at 1 a.m., I'm gonna pick it up. Could be a 7-footer. Like, it's just getting in the coaching. Some people can't accept that job. This ain't 9 to 5. If you're a basketball coach, you got a responsibility to the kids in your program, to their parents, anything. You know, you got to keep your phones by you to make sure the kids are okay. And you got to have a mentality that I'm going to work around the clock and accept that. I know guys get into college basketball and they say, whoa, on TV, I can't do this. Like, they don't quite. It's like, I meet a lot of guys that do this. They was like, yo, see why.
I think we lost you again, Chief.
Do we go in and out? Need somebody that's a great, come to the White House and have a conversation with Obama. And then I need somebody who go across the tracks and talk to Itchy now. You know what I'm saying? I don't need somebody who do one or the other. I need somebody who can do both. You know, a lot of guys, they can go talk to Itchy, but they can't go talk to Obama.
Right.
Can't talk to Itchy.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're a coach, you got to be a jack of all trades. You know, you got to be able to do it all, communicate with all, and at all times have a tremendous amount of professionalism. And you got to be a cop. You know, you are the job. You know, I tell young guys this all the time, man. You know, you get into a recruiting battle with me. Or anybody that I trained, you know, I was so proud of my young boys on the, you know, Chris Crowder, he was my baby. You know what I mean? He was my baby. Like, he was sitting behind the desk at Georgia Tech, and I grabbed him and got him right. Steve Smith was my baby. He was at South Carolina Upstate. Persian Williams was my baby. You know, I trained them guys, and you know, you get in the recruiting war with one of those guys, you swimming with jaws. You know what I'm saying? you swimming with jaws. You know what I mean? You hear that music?
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? Because them boys, they don't sleep. And a lot of people, they don't understand that mentality when you talk about being a coach. And from a recruiting standpoint, with the kids, player development, game planning, it never stops. And you gotta want that to be in this profession. Some people can't do it. I ain't mad at them. I love everybody. I ain't mad at nobody. I ain't trying to fight. People, they want to go to work at 9 and 9. And that's not how this profession works.
Coach, I want to kind of talk about that. The guys, obviously, you guys at Florida State haven't done a 9-to-5 job with the success that you guys had this season. But one thing that doesn't get talked about enough is, I want to give you some time to talk about the guys that don't get mentioned that much. Right, we're definitely going to get to Leonard Hamilton and the great job that he's done at Florida State, but I want you to talk about yourself and the other assistants at Florida State, and the tremendous job that you guys have been able to do this season. talk about a little bit about some of the guys that you work with up at Florida State and how you guys kind of have gotten to this point over this last 5 years. You guys have been on a heck of a run this last 5 years.
Okay, I heard a part of it. This thing going in and out on me a little bit.
Want to hear about yourself?
And I'm blaming it on lock.
No.
Want to hear about?
I think locks.
We want to hear about yourself, Coach, and the other assistants at Florida State, and talk about the work that's been into what you guys have accomplished over the last 5 years.
Oh, I want to make sure I communicate this the right way. We would definitely bless, very, very grateful to have the success we had this year. I told you guys when I was with you in October. I've been with Jalen Hamilton 7 years now. And I've been coaching 26. All the guys I've worked for, I've been blessed. The guys that I've worked for are really, really good. Some of them Hall of Famers in their own right. Georgia Tech has ever been. Coach Crimmins took them to the Final Four, but Paul Hewitt got to the championship game. Cliff Ellis at Auburn, we had a couple of Sweet 16 runs. Hugh Durham, the great Hugh Durham, who used to coach Georgia, Rudy Kidd, coach and CEO in total package I've ever been around. It's Jalen Hamilton, and I'm so happy that he's finally starting to get paid. Jalen Hamilton is
Coach, I don't want to interrupt you, Coach, but what you're saying is extremely important. But I think we're losing our connection with you a little bit.
That's all on you, CY. My connection.
He's known to be a great backer. You just can't. It's impossible. Coaches that are in the league, Roy Williams, as a Hall of Fame coach, I think national title at some point, and we've been knocking on the door at it.
Definitely, Coach. You guys, we got you. It was going in and out a little bit.
Can y'all hear me?
So, Coach, we got a question from our listening audience. I'm gonna.
Okay. Tell me what was the last.
It was going in and out when you were talking about Paul Hewitt. I don't think people realize.
Okay.
I caught what you said, but I don't think everybody realized what you said when you compare what happened with Bobby Crimmins and people forgetting and sleeping on what Paul Hewitt accomplished at Georgia Tech. I caught it, but if you can say it again for our listeners, Coach, I think that was important.
Yeah, I mean that got out of Georgia Tech. You know, it's just one of those things I look to and the decisions they make, but he's student athlete character guys, and he had a chance to win a national title, and he was turning out pros. I was proud to work with at the time and be a part of his program and just learn from him and grow from him. He was really big in my development as a coach.
I don't think people give Paul the respect that he deserves personally for what he was able to do at Tech. And the pros, like you talked about, that you guys produced, and like that, those are some magical seasons over there, man.
Say that one more time, Coach Huff. I'm going on a good spot.
Hey, Coach, it may be something on our end if we can have you drop out and come right back in for us.
Say it again, Dre.
Let's reset real quick. Let's have you drop and come right back, and I'll pull you right back in.
Okay.
We'll try to reset.
It's funny, he was talking about Paul Hewitt, and I had a chance to listen to Paul Hewitt talk on 680 The Fan, maybe been this morning or yesterday morning, and he had some really good things to say, some things that I think a lot of people don't understand. You know, a lot of people talk about that buyout that he had in his contract. A lot of people blame Georgia Tech for, and he kind of talked about, you know, after they went to the championship game, that he had a couple of offers to go to the NBA, and he turned it down because his family, that was his dream job. Georgia Tech was his dream job, he said. And his family wanted to stay in Atlanta. He said when it got to 2010, they were still winning at Tech, but they didn't get back to the championship game. And there was a new AD at Georgia Tech who didn't really sit right. And he said he remembered his wife came in, and St. John's had made him an offer to be the head coach. And he said his wife came in and said, "It's time. We've been at Tech 10 years. You know, things aren't the same. Let's make the move." And he said he was going to St. John's, but he wanted to wait. They were on spring break to tell his players face to face. He said during that time, the AD and the president are blowing his phone up at Georgia Tech, getting them to stay. And that's where the buyout came in, because he accepted to stay. And that's how the buyout came in, that if they fired him or whatever, then they were going to have to continue to pay him. He said, but nobody talks about the other end of the buyout, that if he had ever left and went to another college, he was going to have to pay $3.5 million. He said, and all that happens, and then the next year the AD fires him. Begs you to stay. And next year the AD fires. Yep.
That's crazy.
Insane. I think that was definitely like there were some gems. He was dropping. Somebody was dropping some gems when it came to that. When it came to bringing up Paul Hewitt, people don't respect that man's record as they should. Absolutely incredible.
Hey,
we got some.
So speaking of Georgia Tech,
hey, Locke, are you finally in a good spot in your crib, bro? I feel like I done took a tour of your whole house, man.
Y'all ain't seen nothing but white walls. But no. So right before I got on the podcast, I watched the video. Who y'all think is the best point guard that ever come through Georgia Tech?
Kenny Anderson, man.
Kenny Anderson.
Or
Steph.
I mean, I ain't see Kenny Anderson, so I mean, I I barely saw Stephon Marbury.
But you got a lot of choices. You got Mark Price. You got Mark Price. You got Kenny Anderson. You got Stephon Marbury. You got Travis Best. You got Jared Jett.
What's the best one?
Who?
Travis Best.
Hey man, don't sleep on Kenny Anderson, man. I like
Travis.
I like Travis, but you cannot sleep on. You cannot sleep on Kenny. I mean,
did you say Travis Best was better? Did you just say that Travis Best was better than Kenny Anderson?
Or even Mark Price?
I love Travis Best, but better than Kenny Anderson?
Mark Price?
Dude.
Man.
I just watched like 10, 15 minutes of Kenny, not Kenny, of
Travis Best.
Travis Best film. Hey man.
He was nice.
It was nice, but he ain't Kenny Anderson.
I no disrespect. That's like out of that list of point guards that you name, no disrespect to any of them because they all can hoop. But better than Kenny Anderson though.
So rank them. Top 5.
Ooh, Kenny,
yeah, bro.
Kenny. Y'all don't understand Mark Price. So I'm gonna put Mark Price after that. Stephon.
You put Steph over Travis Best?
Yes.
Hey, I'm sorry. There's another name that needs to be added to that list though. While we're having this conversation, and people may feel Javaris Crittenton is not on that list.
No.
Javaris Crittenton, one of the best high school players. Like that dude.
But he doesn't. But does he compare to what we're talking about? Not saying Javaris wasn't good because I coached against him when he was in college. I mean, in high school.
Only 1 year guy though.
Let me put up Travis Best accolade.
Now don't start pulling on accolades now because Mark Price and Kenny Anderson are way out now.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna pull them up.
I mean, you got to really talk about. Man. Georgia Tech had dudes that came through.
That Stephon Marbury movie just dropped like yesterday too. I'm trying to go check that out. It's supposed to be pretty good.
Hey,
there we go, coach.
Hey, look now. Ranked top 6 in Georgia Tech history in points, minutes, 3-point field goals, and steals.
Locke did his homework before he came on here.
Oh yeah, the only 3 ACC player to score 2,000 points and 600 assists.
Who is this now, Kenny Anderson?
We need you to set. We need you to set the record straight, coach. We having a discussion right now.
I walked into the beat. I'll talk to him.
Yeah. So we talking about Georgia Tech, and we're trying to rank in order, the best point guards to play for Georgia Tech in the history of the university.
Kenny Anderson.
Where do you rate Travis Best, coach?
What'd you say?
Huh?
I said, after Kenny Anderson, who's next?
Kenny, Mark Price, Stephon. I think Travis. I think Travis and Jared are right there together. I think Travis and Jared are right there together.
Coach, who you got?
Kenny Anderson 1.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
I like that comment.
No 1. Hey, that's not even up for debate, man. Lethal Weapon 3 took him to the Final Four straight from the prom. 2010. Like, no question, Kenny Anderson is 1. 2, Mark Price.
I'm right on board right now, Locke. I'm 2 for 2.
3, Stephon Marbury.
I'm 3 for 3, Locke.
4,
Jared
Jack took him to the championship game.
Yeah, I forgot about Jared Jack.
Jared Jack is tough.
And that's why I said Travis had, at worst, had to be tied with Jared. They had to be together.
No, okay. Jared Jack, Travis Best after that one. No question. After Jack. But that's a tough one. That's point guard U. That's the original point guard U. Now,
yes.
I got to give him credit. Now, I'm at Florida State, and I can't get on this podcast and not tell the truth. Georgia Tech is the original point guard U. I mean, they was turning them out.
You got to respect us. Stephon Marbury could very easily be one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Kenny Anderson and Mark Price was just so good.
Man, see, I was running through players that went through Georgia Tech, and you know, from James Forrest to Matt Harprin to Chris Bosh to Thaddeus Young to Derek Favors, Deion Glover, Lewis Kletch. I mean, you know, B.J. Elder, like Anthony Morrow.
We are a Atlanta show, bro. And we not gonna say James Forrest?
I said James Forrest.
You said James Forrest.
About to say, I didn't hear you say James Forrest. I was about to say
like first and second.
No, James Forrest was a gorilla. Now I ain't no question.
Yes.
We didn't name Derek Favors.
I said Derek. Javaris Clinton.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
Marcus George Hunt was good too.
Marcus George's Hunt, Iman Shumpert.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that crew that Paul Hewitt and
we forgot about the guard from Chicago.
Iman?
Will
Butler.
I was just talking about him last week.
He was
Big Luke had a run in the NBA.
He was a big part of that. But you know, hey, Coach, Thaddeus Young, you know, Javaris Critton, Derek Favors, Gani Lawal, Anthony Morrow.
Yep.
Anthony Morrow. Mm-hmm.
See now, Coach. Now you talking because people don't know how many of them kids that you played a part in getting them kids on campus and developing them kids while they was there. Now people don't know that. Now you gotta talk a little bit. Gotta let them know the background, Coach.
You know what? You know I'm going to take the high road and you know what I mean. We was a part of a staff, a lot of.
Oh man, see?
Hey, we was rolling, CY. Now we got him back.
Staff and a program set up where everybody, because to be honest with you now, it's a guy by the name of Dean Keener and Cliff Warren that was there before me, and they were great evaluators, great coaches. Willie Reese was a big part of the program back then. I mean, those guys were evaluating, and they were in the gym. Paul Hewitt was big on individual instruction. Coach, we had some guys that we not even mentioned that had great careers in Europe, made a lot of money.
Mario West
was great college player. Mario West was a pro for us. He was a monster on both sides of the ball. But Zach Peacock, you know.
Oh, Zach Peacock, yeah.
Jeremy Smith.
You had Ishmael Muhammad.
Ishmael Muhammad and B.J. Elder was for real. And I'm telling you the one that they overlooked that nobody talks about that was ice cold. This is one of my favorites.
Marvin Lewis?
And I lost this. Loved Marvin Lewis, shot the blood out of it. But no.
Marvin Lewis.
Tony McHenry.
Ooh.
Tony McHenry was a Scottie Pippen. Like, I lost him when I was at Auburn and he wound up going to Georgia Tech. And he was special, and he kind of was the glue guy for them and kind of sacrificed his own game. But that guy's been in Japan for 10, 15 years making a whole lot of money, man. And he was really, really good. Really, really good. A big part of the Final Four team.
Yeah.
Now, Coach, let's get to some of these killers that you got over here at Florida State, Coach. Now, you came on the show and called out a name. Now, hey, man, look. You know, we got basketball royalty on the phone and in the chat right now. We got Chad Dollar in here. I done seen Persian in here.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey, Dollar still didn't give us them tickets.
It wasn't no fun.
We got basketball royalty in here. So these guys may have heard of the names that you was calling out. They may have been familiar with some of the names you was calling out way back in October the 27th. But now you called out some names October the 27th that I had never even heard of. And now them guys is first round picks this year, man. Tell us about what you got. Some of these killers y'all got at Florida State right now.
Coach, I'm gonna try to keep a level of professionalism, but I think I was a psych. Everybody signed him out there in Street Ridge. They thought I was crazy. They told me he's playing. I said, y'all boys don't know what's going on. Chimpanzee. Coach, he gonna put on a nice suit, some Ferragamo shoes, a hat, and shake that man's hand, Coach. Just like I said.
Hey, Coach, where they got him? They got him.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
They got Vassell in the pre-draft top 15, right? They got him as a lottery right now, don't they? Projected
right now, and they got Patrick Williams probably going between 4 and 10, 4 and 8. And I'm gonna tell you, and don't be shocked that Trent Ford is going around 40 to 45. It's not gonna be a good night for the Seminoles, Coach. I think they finally might start recognizing that we develop pros down here in this system. And and I wanted to give a shout out to my staff, Stan Jones, our associate head coach, Steve Smith, our assistant Dennis Gates, who's at Cleveland State as a head coach now, and obviously Jalen Hamilton. I mean, we take some guys that people aren't always sure on, and we get them better. And I think the proof is starting to be consistent behavior that we're at the draft every year, and we're proud of that. You know, because when you recruit a young man, you don't only want to help us by winning games. Them, reach their dreams and aspirations. I have some people saying, "Man, Patrick Williams is one and done. Get him to stay. Devin is 2 and done." No, I'm gonna wrap these boys up in a bow and put them on the porch when it's time to go. And with those two guys, it's time to go. And we got a couple more coming down the pike. Shout out to my man Dollar Bill, 88, 85 all-star team. My man Dollar Bill.
Hey, Dollar Bill in here saying Dollar Bill said he love you, Coach, but he wants you to stay out of Georgia, man. You hurt him, Coach.
You're a Florida guy.
Hey, see why when we talk about it, Steve talked about it. Steve talked about it last week. Vassell led y'all in rebounding. Like, I think some of these high school players need to understand this. He led y'all in rebounding.
That's a great point you're bringing up. And I talk about this all the time, and I think I talked about it on the show when I was there the last time. Everybody, mama and daddy and AAU coach want their baby to have the ball in his hand. They want him to be the heavyweight dribble champion. But when we working for pros, we looking at guys that can affect the game in a non-ball dominant manner. Devin Vassell not only rebounds, he blocks shots, he gets deflections, he gets steals. That's why we offered him. We offered him because all the things that he did off the ball with a high motor. So I hope more kids start understanding the importance of being able to make backdoor cuts, being able to play without the ball, able to run the lanes like Latrell Sprewell back in the day. One thing about Devin Vassell, if he confused, he just take off running fast, Coach. He always running fast. When I went to recruit him, he was 6'4.5", 163 pounds. He had a wife beater hanging off his neck. He had one string on his chin. But, Coach, he was always and I said, scholarship. Coach, he said, ain't nobody recruiting me but Presbyterian in North Florida. I said, read my lips. I don't care. Scholarship.
Now, Coach, this is where
I wish I could call some names, but it's against the rules and regulations. But it's some other Devin Best sales hanging around there in Atlanta now. I can't tell y'all my secret. I ain't gonna.
Hey, I know one.
There's some more Devin Best sales right
I know a few.
I ain't gonna tell nobody. Don't tell nobody.
Let's talk offline, Coach. look at Dollar Bill, my man.
You can't call him CY.
My man. Coach, that's where I gotta give y'all a lot of credit. It's a lot of guys that get a lot of credit, and I know how gracious you are. You ain't gonna say nothing about nobody else, but a lot of guys get a lot of credit. Let's just keep it real. University of Kentucky gets a lot of credit for being a pro factory. The Duke gets a lot of credit for being a pro factory, but they produce pros that could have went pro out of high school. Right. Coach, y'all produce pros again that I had never heard of before they got to Florida State. I think there's a difference between the two to me.
Well,
y'all doing it every year.
Yeah, Jalen Hamilton appreciates you saying that. I think people are finally starting to take notice.
Yes.
You know, I think people finally starting to see that we do have an elite head coach and we have an elite staff, and that if to their sons and their players, that we're gonna send them back to them with an exponent of 3 on their head in terms of being better, and not just as a basketball player, but as a young man and a person. And I think that's the most important. And that I know that they're going to be successful when basketball is over. You know, that's our number one mission at Florida State, is to prepare our guys when preparing for life after basketball. Jalen Hamilton, that's what he's about more than anything else. And that's why he's always going to be blessed and win, no matter how many negative things they say on the internet or whatever. He's just always going to win because his heart is in the right place.
It is. I've only met, I've seen Coach Hamilton many times, but I've only had the chance to speak to him one time. Mm-hmm. And he was here in June when we had the GHSA June camp event, the team camp event for high school.
Yep. That's when I last time talked to him.
And I've seen a lot of high profile coaches come in and out of gyms here in Georgia, but probably not a more gracious and just everyday guy, man. Coach that came and sat down, man. Sat down, introduced himself to me. I cared about what I was doing and who I was and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We was at Marietta and we just talking basketball, Coach, and he was just a regular guy. And I could probably just count on one hand the amount of high profile coaches that are that way. And he just seemed like the type of guy that just, give you the shirt off his back, just a regular dude. Like, we just sat and talked ball, man. Like, he didn't ask to sit in a special section away from everybody else and none of that stuff, man. He just sat amongst the people just like everybody else, man. A great man.
And Dre, listen, a tremendous amount of humility. I mean, just like that every day. And at the end of the day, I've said this before, and I say this especially to what we call 5-star players now, which I'm not a huge fan of 5-star, that term. But, a lot of these guys that are in that category, they have to understand that, that they're not Martin Luther King. They're not Nelson Mandela. They didn't make the cure for cancer. All you do is play basketball. And we can get somebody else to do that next week. And that's the same thing that goes with coaches. Yeah. I think at Florida, we take pride in having a tremendous amount of humility and an understanding that, you know, we're not Martin Luther King, we're not Nelson Mandela, we ain't make the cure for cancer. We make mistakes. We don't always get things right. We're trying to learn. We're trying to grow. And I think that's what makes Jay Leonard Hamilton so special. But I will say this from a standpoint. And I want to, you know, my man, he's so humble. I don't think he toots his own horn enough. And I have to do it for him. And he cringes. He's like, see why I don't do that? But I got to take care of him. You know, I believe God works in mysterious ways. I think my situation, being let go at Georgia Southern, it was a blessing for my family, being able to raise my kids in Tallahassee and let them grow up here and to come to Florida State and help build a top 5 program. I've been here 7 years now. And I want to say this, and I think it's very important because I tell people all the time, I don't get emotional, read the data, right? You know, people say all kind of things, but don't get emotional, read the data. 4 years ago, Jay Leonard Hamilton lost Jonathan Isaac, 6th pick in the draft, Dwayne Bacon draft, Xavier Ray Mays, a few 10 days in the NBA, Greece, and G League, Michael Ojo, $300,000 guy in Turkey, and Jacquez Smith from Middle Georgia, Lakeland G League. Lost 5. The next year, he went to the Elite 8. Everybody thought we was dead. Everybody thought Jay Leonard Hamilton, write him off, is over. They lost all those pros. It's over. He went to the Elite 8. Fast forward to this year. Last year, we lost Mfiondu Kabengele, LA Clippers. Terrence Mann, LA Clippers. Jean-Chris Kamaji, Philadelphia 76ers, two-way. Phil Kofer, Memphis Hustle, G League. David Nichols, MVP in Cyprus. PJ Savoy, sharpshooter from Vegas, one of the best three-point shooters in the country. 6 pros. We won the ACC regular season the next year. Everybody thought we was dead. So at some point, this ain't my opinion. I'm giving you the data.
The data.
I'm emotional. At some point, they got to say, Jay Leonard Hamilton is an elite basketball coach and CEO, that this is an elite staff and a great basketball program. So now we go into next year, and I wonder, now I see some of the way too early rankings. You know, I see they starting to wake up a little bit, but usually we're not ranked at all. You know what I'm saying? You know, usually they have us, you know, 2 years ago, we was 38 seconds from the Final Four. You know,
right.
But I think now, and for me, I'm more concerned about getting Jay Leonard Hamilton in the Hall of Fame and winning him a national championship. Right? I think that's important for his legacy. And I think, you know, people ask, why is Coach Hamilton still coaching at 71 years old? Well, the reason he's still coaching is respect is the ultimate currency. He's been doing it at a high level for a lot of years, but they don't want to give him his credit. So I think he's decided, I'm going to make him say my name. I'm going to make him, you know, and I get it. We got to win a national championship to really kick the door in. We got to win it all. And we hurting inside because I think this year was the year that we was going to do it. In Atlanta, too.
This would have been the year. I think so.
This would have been the year, you know? So
it would have been this past week.
The only thing would have been last week. I think we would have won it. But again, you know, a lot of coaches and parents and people out there, they say, oh, I'm going to save this player for the Blue Bloods. Well, we say, forget Blue Blood. New blood. New blood. we here, and we ain't going nowhere. Every time they think we dead, we pop right back up in the Elite Eight, right back up in the ACC championship, and it's consistent behavior. So we not worried about the blue blood. We new blood.
I gotta respect that, coach. No, in today's society where nobody wants to build anything, they just want to jump to something that is already built. To build a program that like you guys have at a so-called football school now,
football school
ain't easy to do. Especially in the conference that you're doing it.
Well,
right?
Like, and
I mean, Syracuse, North Carolina, Duke, Louisville, like Virginia, like it's there's some smoke in that conference.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I love everybody. I ain't mad at nobody. I ain't trying to fight. Right? We fighting 80 years of tradition. Right? You know, Kentucky, you know, Kansas, you know, Duke, Carolina. Them guys, they've been at the top of the basketball world for 75, 80 years. I'm talking about Adolph Rupp and Denny Crum and you know Larry Brown when he was at Kansas. So you know, we're fighting 75, 80 years of tradition. And I get it, Dean Smith, I get it. But at some point, you know, you gotta look at, okay, these kids and these parents, they gotta look and say, okay, now that was 80 years ago now. Like what's relevant now? What applies to me? A lot of these kids, they don't know who Adolph Rupp is, coach. They don't know.
Right.
They don't know who
they don't know who Larry Brown is.
Who Kenny Skywalker is. They don't even know who Dean Smith is. You know what I mean? It's amazing how many of these kids that really don't know their history. You know.
Yeah.
I remember I was recruiting a kid when I was at Georgia Tech, and I asked the kid. I told the kid, I said, "Listen, you remind me of Charles Oakley." He said,
who is that?
Who that, coach? He live on 27th Avenue? No. Charles Oakley. That's Michael Jordan's bodyguard, man. But these kids, some of them, they don't even know Tracy McGrady or, you know, guys that, much less if you're a real basketball head. Like I saw a kid last year. I said, this boy like Fats Lever. You know,
they don't know who that is, coach.
You know, I saw a boy. I said, "Boy, you remind me of Eric Sleepy Flo."
They don't know who that is.
Just gave him a hell of a compliment, coach.
Right.
He don't even know.
Hey, right. I told the kid, "You remind me of Bernard King." He said, "Who?" You know, these kids, they don't study the game. They don't know.
No, they don't.
I think you guys, here's a recommendation for you guys. I think y'all got to take one day a week and teach these young Thundercats their history, man. You know what I mean? Just pick
That's a good idea.
And we got to teach Bryce too. We got to teach Bryce too.
Damn.
I know some of these, but I don't know all of them. A good amount of them.
Coach, at one point in time, I think we were going to start doing that. Put together some old tapes. I think I did a couple of highlight tapes. I did one of Harold Miner and one of Kendi Anderson, and then we kind of dropped off. But
hey man, if you go back to Bernard King,
I think it's important. Coach, it's some kids right now listening to this podcast. They don't know who Larry Bird is. Coach, you know how good Larry Bird was?
Man, they don't know what that was. Coach, that was a gorilla. He was a gorilla.
Player in the history of basketball. I watched the 87 right here. No games on. I watched the 87 All-Star game, and the man was making floaters with his left hand.
Yep.
I mean, it was crazy, and he was 6'9". But these kids, they don't respect the history. You know, their history stops at LeBron. You know, they think that's it. LeBron. You know, that was the beginning of basketball. You know,
Coach, I want to.
It was some real silverback gorillas in the late 70s, the 80s. You know what I mean? Early 90s. You know, like think about this. Think about this, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say about our basketball history. think about the boy in Portland that hurt his knee.
Brandon Roy.
Brandon Roy, yeah.
Ooh, Coach, you know how good that boy was.
Yes.
Killer.
Bro.
Killer. Yes.
Bro. Yeah. So it's I think y'all need to take 1 or 2 days a week and just pick 2 old school players and just say, hey man, we're gonna educate these young fellas. You know. I mean, you know what made me bring this up? It hurt my heart that one of my players didn't know who Chris Jackson was. I was teary.
I'd have been sick too, Coach.
Yeah.
Coach, I was
been sick.
I said, young fella, come in my office. I'll call him in my office. Young Thundercat, sit down right here. I put on. We got to help these young Thundercats.
We do. We do.
Gotta help. We got to teach them the history.
So, Coach, I want to ask you something. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but you work for, you know, obviously Coach Hamilton. You work for Paul Hewitt. You've been a head coach before. Is there anything, or is there things that can be done to get more African American Division I head coaches?
I lost you.
I was saying you work for Paul Hewitt and you work for Coach Ham, and you've been a Division I head coach before. Is there anything we can do to get more African American Division I coaches? I know that's been a big topic here lately, and you know, just trying to pick your brain and see what your thoughts are about it.
Can you hear me?
We got you, Coach.
Okay, because I can't hear her.
His question was about African American head coaches. How do we address the issue that we have that's apparent? I don't know a politically correct way to say that.
Right.
But the lack of African American head coaches, while there's an overwhelming number of African American assistant coaches out there, how do we work to address that issue in college basketball?
Okay, give me the question one more time.
The question was about how do we address the lack of African American head coaches in college basketball?
You know what? That's a tough one. Because it's human nature. Human nature is a beast, right? Human nature is an absolute beast. And it's human nature to hire somebody that they're comfortable with, right? That they connect with, that they feel like they're common. And African American presidents of universities, there's not a lot of African American athletic directors. So therefore, it's not a lot of African American search firms are more apt to hire people that they connect with. Now there's people that are so good that they can kind of infiltrate it. That are so and it's what I talked about, so versatile in their ability to communicate. But it's a difficult thing, and I just don't know if it will change. I don't know. I would like to think if more African American head coaches that will make them, hey, we got engineer speak as 300 coaches, right? Or NBA head coaches. So if you become a Division I head coach, you are a bad boy. It's only 353 of them in the world. You know what I mean? In the world. So it's a tough deal. It's a tough deal, and I hope it proves. I think people like you sick on it, and I also think that hopefully Jalen Hamilton and a couple more African American head coaches can win national titles and open some ditches behind us. Most important about what we're doing here at Florida State. Because I'll be honest, it's only, I want to say, in the history of college basketball, it's only 4 coaches that won a national title. Nolan Richardson, B. Smith, Kevin Ollie. Only 4 in the history of the game. And we've been playing college basketball, so on that list and kind of help make some change.
Coach, let me ask this: in a day and time where we're seeing, and I'm not saying this to say that they shouldn't have done this, right? I'm just using it as an example. But in a day and time where we're seeing a school like Sanford hire a high school coach, Bucky McMillan, who in all rights, probably deserve that job, right? But I wonder if for African American coaches is the lack of head coaching experience at the Division I level specifically something that's being held against you guys? And does that really matter? If you can coach, can you coach? Right? Can you run a program?
Well,
How much does that even matter?
It's 2 parts to it. I know Bucky McMillan. I know the AD at Sanford. Bucky is a Birmingham guy. Like, he's born and raised there, played high school there, coached there. He's connected to the city, and maybe they felt like that's what they needed to get people to get behind their program. They've tried a bunch of different models. I would say this: being a Division I head coach, I was the youngest Division I head coach in the country when I took the job at Georgia Southern. I was 37, and what I learned in that experience, really good head coach, but I was a terrible CEO. And when you take a head coaching job, you got to be a head coach and a CEO. That experience got me ready. Now, when I get my next job, and I am saying when I get my next head coaching position, here to be a CEO. When I took the job at Georgia Southern at 37, I look back on it, and I probably wasn't prepared to be a CEO. And so I think young coaches got to understand themselves to be a head coach, but also a CEO, and make the decisions to hire, fire, market, promote, and to bring the program along in every category. It's a tough deal. So head coaching experience does matter. It makes you better. That's why you see so many coaches that get let go. They get more jobs because they have that experience. I was a first-time assistant coach fighting for an opportunity. I got blessed that I was a Hall of Fame player at Georgia Southern. The program wasn't in good shape when they gave me the job. It was 3 scholarships taken, an academic scandal, and probation. I probably got the job because it wasn't in good shape at the time. But I had to take it because I needed to get HC on my name and break the stigma of just being an African-American recruiter. It's hard to get head coaching experience, and I wish I had the answer to it. Because if you put yourselves in an AD spot, you don't want to hire somebody that's inexperienced, right? Like, for example, and Dre, I'll ask you this question. It's just a tough deal. It's just a tough. I'll ask you this question. If you had a heart problem, you need to get heart surgery, and I was a doctor, and you came to me to get your heart surgery, and I said, "Hey, Dre, I got you. This is my first heart surgery, but I made A's in school, and I'm going to operate on you. Would you feel comfortable?" Would you feel comfortable?
I don't think so, Coach.
But if I came to you and said, "Hey, Dre, listen, I got you. I've been doing this 26 years. I've done a number of these surgeries. I'm going to take care of you." Now you feel what?
More comfortable.
More comfortable.
Yeah. And that's, I don't want no rookie heart surgeon working on me. I know you went to Harvard. I know you got straight A. I don't want no rookie heart surgeon working on me. And that's a tough deal. It's like the riddle of the Sphinx. It's hard to figure out.
Dude, so, and that's the problem that I guess, and maybe, you guys have sat in both chairs, right? You guys have spent time as assistants and you spent time as the head coach. It just stands out to me that, we have schools that almost chase after, African-American coaches and make them assistants and don't mind throwing a lot of money at them when they do it. But trusting them to move 6 to 12 inches over to the left seems to be a big problem. It's a problem that I hope we fix. I don't have the answer, but
I just wish I had the answer.
A couple things in mind.
I was proud of my alma mater. I was proud of my alma mater that 3 of the finalists for the job, African Americans. And I think that's a huge step. I was the first African American head coach in the history of the university. And that was 2009. Now for them to come back and have 4, I think we're going in the right direction. Kennesaw State hiring them in Amir. I think slowly but surely it's getting better, and Amir is going to do a great job over at Kennesaw State. Just a very impressive individual. You know what I mean? Just an impressive individual. And I think the more guys like that gets jobs, it'll continue to get better, and hopefully, again, I hope we can win a national championship and open the eyes and open the doors for some African American coaches behind us. Seeing that we're probably one of the few predominantly black staffs at the Power 5 level. I think that helps. So, we'll get there. I think it's getting better. The numbers don't show it, but I see more dialogue about it and more interest. Dennis Gates going to Cleveland State last year and getting Coach of the Year. Getting Coach of the Year his first year. I mean, that was big time. That was big time over at Cleveland State. So slowly but surely.
For sure. I want to shout out to the head of coach at UNC Pembroke, Division II school. Get Coach of the Year, and then did not get the head coaching job. They made him an associate head coach. Shout out to that brother. Hang in there, bro. Hang in there, bro. We're following your story and may have you on the show. Hang in there, bro. Hang in there. I just want to mention that. I don't want to throw no dirt at nobody while CY on here. Well, like CY said, I don't want to fight. I don't hate UNC Pembroke. I don't want to fight. But y'all had a young brother that dominated at the D2 level with a great team, won Coach of the Year, and now his reward is the associate head coaching position and not the head coaching position that he proved that he could handle, obviously. But yeah, what started that whole conversation, CY, and we'll move on. But what started that whole conversation is we were watching The Scheme on HBO. We were watching it together as a family, and one statement that got said, and I don't even want to talk about The Scheme because we talked about that to death. But just one statement that got said on that show was, on one of the wiretap recordings, the young man says to the FBI agent that, hey, any African American assistant coach knows that he can't make a mistake, because if anything happens to him or any little thing happens, he'll never coach again. Yep. I'm assuming your response says that is a reality in college basketball that people really don't understand.
Yes, indeed. Not trying to be controversial, but
that's tough.
It's tough. Life ain't fair. It's not fair. Hopefully, guys can fight for each other and vouch for each other's character. And, Rick Pitino is the new head coach at Allen, and but you just don't see many African American coaches get another opportunity if they become in an unfortunate. And there's some situations that we can talk about right here in Atlanta that really hurts me to my soul. And we just got to keep trying to fight and see if we can do something about it when the time comes. Try to help the guy situations.
And as we move on, right, I just want to make sure to all my listeners that they understand, whether you're watching us live on YouTube, whether you're watching on a live stream on Twitter, or you listening to us on SoundCloud, and you may not understand what we're talking about. Why does it come back to race? This is about basketball. It's not about race, blah, blah, blah. Well, you got to understand that guys like me grew up watching John Thompson and Nolan Richardson and John Chaney. And they're a big part of the reason why we fell in love with the game. And we don't have many of those giants left. Leonard Hamilton might be the most established or accomplished African-American head coach that we have in the game today. I mean, Patrick Ewing is at Georgetown. Yeah, Shaka Smart is at Texas, and God bless those guys. They're doing an amazing job. But, John Thompson, John Chaney, Nolan Richardson, those guys were giants in this game. And
I think Conzo Martin,
things happen,
and Anthony Grant. I think those guys.
I forgot about Anthony Grant. He did an amazing job.
I think Conzo Martin,
great job.
Conzo Martin and Anthony Grant at Dayton, Conzo Martin at Missouri. I think those guys are going to do a good job too and make a run.
I agree.
We got Rob Lanier right here at Georgia State, who I think is special.
Yes, sir.
He's going to do a good job. So
great staff. I'm so happy with my state, man. Kennesaw State got an amazing staff. Georgia State got an amazing staff. We got 2 black head coaches, man. I'm
Lock. So this man said my state right now, but he said he was gonna come over here with a Louisville shirt on.
Like you said,
that's what happens when your boy declared for the draft. He forget all about him.
Oh yeah, that hurt him to his soul.
Talking about him. You ain't know. My man Scrub is out of it. It was Jay Scruggs out there.
Hey, Jalen Scruggs. There was never a time in my head where I thought that he would step foot on campus. Not even when he was. Way back when my old pastor, he used to go to the same church I grew up at with my old pastor. When he called me, when Jamel called me, was like, "Hey man, we got this kid." And once he told me about the kid, I was like, "Hey, we ain't got no shot. He's going to the league." Going to the league.
Ran off on the plug twice.
Thanks. Thanks. But I am always gonna be Louisville, man. But I love what the way Georgia basketball looks. University of Georgia, Kennesaw State, Georgia State, I think are all gonna be great. All gonna be great. 2 more years. Hey man, Kennesaw State boy, we're gonna talk about that. We all gotta get Persian and Amir back on the show.
Hey, Florida State is an Atlanta school too. Don't forget about us.
Oh.
Hey, the way y'all come up here and get kids, you kind of are.
Florida State is Atlanta school too. Root for the Atlanta school.
Coach, we're gonna see. We had a question up here for you. Let's see where to go. Here we go. We had a question about how heavily do you recruit post grad kids?
That's a good question. We like them. We like post grad kids. Any chance we get to get old and stay old and get more seasoned guys, we want to do it. I'm a huge fan of kids taking a year of prep school, especially young men. There's nothing more amazing than the development of a young man. You know, from high school to 17, their bodies, everybody develops at a different rate. Jonathan Isaac, who we signed here, he could have came out of high school and came straight to us. He chose to go to IMG first and do a post-grad year and get himself ready. Common Gelly, who wound up being a 27 pick in the draft, he go first. No, we if a guy's a high character in posting, by all means, we'll recruit him. No.
High character gym rat. Hey man, I might put that on our shirts for our AAU program, man. We got high character gym rat. High character gym rat. That's all right with me, Coach.
That's what we're looking for.
Coach, LeBron made a statement that he feels like that if they don't go back and complete their season, the NBA season, if they don't get a chance to compete, that he doesn't feel like that there's closure, that he'll never feel like that he got closure on the year. Wanted to understand from your standpoint, that's something that's looming for LeBron, but that's something that's reality for you guys, especially we talked about you guys having a chance to win it all. What's the discussion like going into next season emotionally, right? How do you guys handle it emotionally, knowing that you had a chance to win it, and because of this, pandemic, you didn't get even a chance to compete?
There's the empty pit, is the empty feeling in all of our. I think I saw the look in those young men's face in the locker room when we were told that we weren't going to be able to compete in the ACC, and I can't explain it. Like, I can't explain the looking coaches. This was unprecedented. We thought it was a joke. Like, we couldn't believe it. Never thought something like this can happen. I mean, you think about the NCAA tournament. This is a tournament that generates $5 to $10 billion a year.
Yeah.
You would never think that something that generates that much revenue would be shut down. And then when I thought about it, when I came to and I got my senses, because I was upset at first, I realized it must be a serious issue for them to close something like this down. But to get back to your original question, I don't think we'll ever get over it. I mean, our final ranking was 4 in the country. We were 26-5. And what people don't realize is early in the year we were winning games, but we really wasn't playing that well. And then the last 10 games of the season, the light switch went on for us, and we were peaking at the right time. And there were a lot of teams that were really good early, but late in the season, they were going this way.
Yeah.
We was a team that was so that's what's really painful and hurtful. But you know, I mean, you got to respect what they had to do, and it was about humanity and saving lives, and saving lives is more important than basketball. So I'm glad they made the decision that they made. I think some of the cities, New Orleans, I think they kept St. Patrick Day. Now they got a real bad situation. So if they would have going and getting 30, 40, 50,000 people together, we would really be in bad shape. So, you know, it hurts, but they did the right thing, and we got to save lives. You know, we got to save lives.
Coach Baldwin, while you were speaking, brought up the Louisville win, and he's just rubbing it in and crushing my heart. Coach Baldwin, I watched it matter of fact, I've watched it the last 8 times. They beat us like 7 out of the last 8, and I watched all of them, unfortunately. Coach, do you think they were going to give you your just due and give you your respect and give you a number 1 seed this year? I think you guys earned it.
I do.
They had to, yeah.
I do. I thought that we were going to sneak into maybe that 3rd or 4th 1 seed. But Dre, I will rub it in a little bit by Louisville. I'm gonna stick it in you a little bit. The best thing about the Louisville wins is that was my scout, young fella.
Hey, so Coach, can you give that scout to somebody else next time?
That's been my scout the last 4 years. I just want that to be noted on the show. Let the little lady in the corner in the courtroom make sure she get that on the law. That's OCY scout Louisville.
Hey, I am gonna write a very kindly worded and generous email to Coach Leonard Hamilton, begging him to please give that scout to somebody else. Because we haven't stood a chance. Out of the last 8, you guys have won either 6 or 7. It's not been good for us.
I'm gonna be honest with you though, Coach, and that guy, I got a lot of respect for the program, the coach. They were a really good team. That's what you know, it hurt my heart that we didn't get a chance to show who we were, because you know, beating Louisville at Louisville was, to me, the most special win of the year. And we went to Florida and won, and we had some big wins and here. But going to beat Louisville at Louisville, that's when we kind of knew, okay, we for real. Like we can win it all. Even our kids was like, yeah, you know, we thought we were good. Went to Louisville and controlled the game. That's when we felt like, okay, we gonna go ahead and cut the nets down. So we respect them. We respect their program. By no means am I, you know, talking trash. They were good. And listen, we probably would have wound up playing them in the Elite 8 or the Final 4. Like, I was looking at the way it was going. We would have had to see them again, I think. They were big and strong and very methodical in what they do and try to run their sets. I think we were a little bit of a matchup problem for them because we switch 1 through 5 and we try to stick a wrench in your offense and we don't let you run your sets. And I think that was a tough deal for them.
Very tough. Coach, let me ask this question. Did you ever coach at Freedom Hall?
No, never coached at Rupp, never coached at Freedom Hall. We played Louisville in Puerto Rico when I was at Auburn, when they had Samaki Walker and DeJuan Wheat.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, listen. DeJuan Wheat is sacred ground for me.
Yes.
DeJuan. And I had one of my young gorillas I coached, Wes Flanagan, who now coaches at Auburn. And we played them in Puerto Rico in the San Juan shootout and was down 22. And Wes Flanagan went crazy and brought us back to win the game in overtime. So they was playing in Freedom Hall then. That might have been 1900 1995.
I was about to
But
say
they had a nice
96,
team.
97, something like that. Yeah. I was only asking
nice
because
team.
y'all, I've been to both and I enjoy games in both arenas, but for different reasons. To me, Freedom Hall was just rowdy. And the Yum Center is a little more business-like to me a little bit, but it's nicer. It's beautiful. It's like it's a little corporate. It's like watching a basketball game in a penthouse apartment.
Right. Right. But those old teams, and then again, I'm getting back because I'm a historian of the game. You know, I try to get back to those old teams. You know, Denny Crum, Louisville, in Freedom Hall with Billy Thompson, Herbert Crook, Lorden, 6'7". They were the original 6'7" university, switch everything. You know, Billy Tangna, Tony Kimbrough. Them boys was real. Camden, New Jersey. That's big time basketball now, and winning it all with nervous purpose.
Never nervous.
I brought that up because your team reminds me of some of our old Louisville teams. Extremely athletic. You try to finesse that thing off that glass, we going to get it. Then we going to run it, and then we going to dunk it. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Denny Crum he constructed his team the way we try to construct ours now, to be honest with you. And Coach Hamilton talks about it because he was at Kentucky as an assistant going head to head with him. Denny Crum's teams were a problem.
Man, Leonard Hamilton was at Kentucky. I didn't realize that, Coach. I'm learning something new every day, man.
That was the first
man.
Every day. I didn't know that.
Man, listen.
Know that.
One day they're gonna write a book on J. Leonard Hamilton. Man, it's gonna be crazy. Dude's a trailblazer. You know, to be an assistant at the University of Kentucky in the late 70s, early 80s.
I know.
And basically be one of the first guys to integrate college basketball. Kentucky went from being all white to all black while he was there working for Joe B. Hall.
Man, Coach Baldwin just threw something out there for you.
Kenny Skywalker, Dirk Minifield, Goose Givens. I'm talking about. I mean, this is real basketball history.
When we talk about basketball history, I can't talk about the University of Kentucky anymore because I got in trouble the last time I did.
Sam Bowie, Melvin
Sam Bowie.
Turpin.
Great basketball player.
Yeah, Coach. He was the guy that brought all those guys in. So he's definitely a big time staple in college basketball history.
That's a very interesting turn when we talk about Kentucky's program from what they were to what they are, with that name still on the side of that building. When we talk about knowing the history and
here you go.
Oh, yeah. You got it started.
Hey, he about to go.
I'm not going there. No, I am not going there. I'm not going there.
Been in quarantine too long.
He been on his computer all day long.
All day looking up, typing up stuff.
Nope. Y'all not getting a peep out of me. Great program over there at Kentucky up in Lexington. That other school up 65. Great program. I'll let that go. Coach, I gotta ask this, man. Coach,
talk to
give me your top 5 out of the kids that you've coached in your career. If you had to go top,
does he go by
five,
position? Does he go by position or just top five?
just give any positions. Just give me
top
your
five.
top.
Ooh, I'm crossing my legs. I'm crossing my legs.
Yeah, I got my legs crossed too.
Hey, now, Coach, I'm talking about your top
I don't
5
know if I can do
CY
it.
certified silverback gorillas.
I don't know if I can do it.
Hey, can I get 10?
Get 10. Let's go 10. Let's go 10.
Get
Start
10.
you a
I've
team.
been blessed.
Start you a
I'm about to
team.
do 5. Can I get
Start you a team.
10?
You got 10 to start you a team.
10.
We give you 10, Coach.
Moochie Norris.
Ooh.
Woo.
Moochie.
Lord.
Man.
Wow.
Oh,
Let me start writing these down. Hold up.
oh,
I gotta write
Afro
these
Moochie.
That was my first. Moochie Norris. He's rough coat. Marquise Daniels.
Oh.
Dallas Mavericks. Who's bad?
Ooh.
Problem. The problem. Chris Porter.
Ooh.
Yes, sir.
All with a kid. Yeah.
They don't
Yes,
know
sir.
about Chris Porter out of Monroe, man. They don't know about Chris Porter.
Thaddeus Young.
Woo.
How many is that?
That's
5.
4. Not 4.
That's
4. Moochie, Marquise, Chris Porter, Thaddeus Young. That's 4.
Moochie Norris. Marquise Daniels. Chris Porter. That's 3.
Yep.
Derek Favors.
Derek Favors. All right.
That
That's a strong 5, Coach.
Yeah.
I'm nervous, man.
Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? Javaris Critton.
Woo.
Killer. A killer.
Man. How many is that?
7.
7.
You got 3 more, Coach.
I hadn't even got to Florida State.
These last 3 gotta go to Florida State.
If they don't, they're gonna be blowing up your phone.
Be mad, right?
I gotta put Anthony Morrow in there, Coach. I mean, Anthony Morrow. Oh. Jonathan Isaac. And I got a tie. Malik Beasley and Dwayne Bacon for that 10th spot.
Ooh.
That's a good tie.
That's a good.
That's a good time.
And that's a good 10. That's a good 10, though.
Like
they can defend. They can defend. They can play multiple positions.
I left a lot of
athletic.
Point guards.
Hey, a lot of
Man,
gorillas.
I
There's some
love
pros that didn't make that list, Coach.
Yeah.
That's the
Man,
team
listen.
right there.
There's some pros.
That team will defend you.
I
And some
left
dogs.
Tony Douglas off the list.
Ooh.
Tony Douglas
Hey,
ain't
man.
on the list. Oh.
Hey, people had to understand, Coach. I did that intentionally so people watching this show will understand how much talent you have recruited, coached, developed, mentored in your career. It's a lot.
Because I got
of
some
talent.
guys that was special. When I was at Tech, I had some guys that, like Atlanta guy, I got to give him a shout out, Coach. He was a great college player. You know, I signed Mufon Yadofia from Miller Grove, Coach.
Ooh.
He was rough.
Yeah.
Coach, he was a great college player. I signed Zach Peacock from Miami Northern, Georgia Tech. These boys I got here at Florida State now, Harris Mann and Vassell Williams. These guys changed. They started a basketball revolution over here, Coach. Trent Ford. These guys started a basketball revolution.
For sure.
Kind of hard to leave them out, but they so young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a tough. I tell you, gonna get me in trouble, man. Somebody mama gonna call me cussing tonight, man.
We just had to let our listeners know who we had in here, man. So when you get the CY stamp of approval, man, that stamp means something. That stamp means something, man. They get some dudes that done got that stamp before.
Hey, boy, I'm from the 1900s, like I said, baby. 26 years. You know, some of these guys.
Coach went back. It's some young folks listening to us, man, that is currently asking their parents or Googling, who is Moochie Norris? A killer, a certified gorilla.
Goon, no question.
Goon.
Thriller Manila crossover. Spin you around. 2-step. Moochie Norris, he was the one that 1-2 crossover. That's the first time I ever seen it. Moochie Norris would put that between his leg and hezzy and 2-step and snatch it and just spin guys around like this. I said, this boy been practicing. Lord have mercy. Because my era, we spin dribble. You know, put it behind our back, spin move. Now this boy here was crossing over like that, Coach, Texas 2-step. I was like, wow. Nice player.
Hey, Coach, we definitely, man, appreciate you, man. Thank you know so much for giving us your time. It means so much to us. It means so much for our listeners. Like, I think your show might be the highest viewed show that we've ever had. That October 27th show still might have the record in views for the most views that we've had on our show.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I think you're breaking records every time you show up, Coach.
Well, I told you this. I told you when I was here last time. I said I had to be part of the smoke. Y'all boys are doing a lot for Atlanta basketball, man. Everywhere I was going, I was hearing about it, and I didn't know what it was. I turned on my TV on my phone one day. I saw y'all on there. I said, "These young boys crazy." Hey, I'm like, I'm going to Atlanta tomorrow to get on here. I said, you guys do a lot for basketball, man. Just marketing it, promoting it. Those juices flowing, getting the competitive nature going, and helping the kids and the coaches. You really are doing a lot for the game in Atlanta, man. And I appreciate you, and that's any way I can help and give back to the game. You know, I mean, it's crazy, Dre. You had to send me a shout out that I was going to be on the show, and I got a text message from a special mom saying, "I heard you're going to be on the show. I hope she's watching. I can't call no names because it gets the rules and regulations."
I thought she was on there watching. I know.
I wish I could call her name, but I got to stay within the rules and regulations. So I'm going to do that. But I appreciate it. I do.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We definitely appreciate it.
Y'all boys keep doing what you do, man. Keep making the game better.
Appreciate you.
No doubt.
Right,
no doubt. Hey.
Talk to you.
All right, Coach.
Sure.
All right, fellas.
Hey.
All right, Coach.
All right.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, CY's the best, man.
Oh, yeah.
Legendary every time.
Every time. Kills it every time. Hey, fellas, before we go, y'all want to talk about these new prep schools that's popping up every 10 minutes?
Hey.
Do your research. Do your research.
It feels like it's more like every 5 minutes.
I check the timeline. Every time I refresh the timeline, there's a new prep school.
But you know what? With the stuff going on, we probably need more prep schools.
I would agree. I think it's important.
Nah.
How many
I think
kids
there's enough.
may need to reclassify for 2021?
No, there's going to be a ton of kids that are going to have to go to prep, but I think there's plenty of prep opportunities already. I think a lot of prep opportunities already now aren't that good. So,
but that's my point, though. That's my point, though, bro.
Not to say that the new ones popping up are going to be good, but
right, that's exactly the point that I'm making. I don't know how many good prep opportunities there are out there.
Do your research. That's all I want to say.
Happy to see. Yeah. So real quick.
Only thing I'm gonna say, at one time, Middle Georgia Prep, people didn't give them credit or had confidence in them.
But for every Middle Georgia Prep or TSF,
there's
five that were here today. Take your money, going tomorrow.
Hey, let's throw something out, man. What do we feel like are some good characteristics of a solid prep school? There's got to be some kind of academic component, right? Like you don't want to go to.
Yeah, it depends on why you're going. If you're going to because you need a GPA booster, then yeah, you need to go to a place that's going to help you raise your GPA and get your SAT scores up.
So first off, you got to understand: is it a post grad or is it a prep school?
Prep school,
right?
Educate me. What's the difference?
What did your kid go to, Bryce? What did your kid who just signed? He went to what?
He went to Putnam Science Academy. But see, they had high school and they had, I guess you can call it post grad. Well, it was a prep school though. It was prep.
So he took classes in some form.
Yeah, in some form he took classes. Yeah.
So
I mean, and the reason why he chose that one was because of the reputation, of course, of who they've put out in the past. I don't know, 5 years. As well as the league they play in is one of the toughest prep leagues in the country, in the Northeast, in the North. So I think a lot of prep schools pop up and don't necessarily have that background and that. Well, where are you playing? Well, what coaches are coming into your doors in September? And a lot of prep schools do have that. They have those connections. So like Huff said, it comes down to your research.
It's a prep school in Georgia that don't get a lot of love, but they've been around. ASA?
Yeah, they've been around. They played in the Big South tournament.
And I think, like I said, I think part of that is because prep schools in the South aren't, and I could be wrong. I just don't think they're as big as it is up north. It's a difference. So I think it's not even that we don't give ASA and a lot of them credit. It's just prep school in Georgia is not in the South. It's not a huge thing. I mean,
I think the prep schools up north looks like more like high school ball down here.
What you mean?
Like we think about Hargrave.
Yeah,
Hargrave can be considered a prep school or high school.
Hargrave was
it's a prep.
Hargrave is a prep school.
It's a prep school, but look at KD Johnson. KD Johnson he didn't spend a prep year at Hargrave. He spent his senior year at Hargrave.
There's your difference. Yeah, it was a prep school. If it was post grad, it's for people that already graduated. That's your difference, right?
But Hargrave has post, but you can do that at Hargrave, as far as I know too. Like you can graduate and still and go post grad. So I mean. But those schools have a different Oak Hills. Those schools have a reputation for that already, and we don't
like doing tournaments. As far as high school tournaments, there's your regular high schools 9 times out of 10, unless they get some special OK, can't play a prep school. Yeah. It's not allowed. And
my bad.
And your prep schools sometimes can't play a post grad. They ask, like when we were asking prep schools to play at our event, they would say, "Hey, is it going to be their post grad team or their prep school team?"
So, what will Hamilton Heights be considered?
Prep school, because they can't play. Because if it's a prep school, many times it's not affiliated with the high school association in their state.
Right.
So, like that's why Hamilton Heights couldn't play some of the schools in Georgia. Gotcha. Mondre is over here. He's learning.
I'm soaking up the game, man. I kind of learned because and the reason why I say that is because like and I'm gonna butcher their name, but their school from Utah, I believe, Wasatch Academy came down here and played, and I think they played like Norcross or somebody, right?
But see, they might be I don't know enough about them. They might be a regular high school though.
Okay.
It probably.
That's what I was saying.
Hey, we're gonna have to get
like as regular high school.
But again, they played them in what event?
They played them in was it Hoopsgiving?
And maybe it was a situation where it was approved, because you have to send those names in. If it's I can only speak on if it's a GHSA event. You have to send the names into the schools who are going to be in the event.
It could have been 12 players.
And they'll tell you if they can't play certain people.
Yeah.
Got you. That's interesting. We're gonna have a prep guy, somebody on here. You know, maybe that's a good time to have Rob on here.
Yeah,
we gotta get Rob.
Yeah.
That's probably a good time to have Rob. We're gonna have Rob on here and talk us through this whole prep versus post grad.
Yeah, see, they
situation.
Do. They do.
Hey, my boy watching.
Hey, can we get on that subject real quick or no?
Hey, my boy, they been on your head, my boy. Rob, they been on your head.
Did he drop that edit already? Did he drop that edit?
I've been defending you, Robbie, but they been on your head.
Hey, we're gonna get Robbie on three-way after this. we got a session for you, bro.
Hey man,
don't drop that, bro.
Before, if Jabari would have did that, they wouldn't been talking crazy. We would have been trying to figure out where he going.
Nah.
Oh no, I would have been talking crazy. Don't drop it. No, I would have been talking crazy.
Some of us, but not everybody.
Bobby might be the first high school kid to do that.
Man, I'm gonna talk crazy. I don't think you should. I don't think you should put that out.
I've seen.
Don't put it out. Don't put it out.
He had to get it from somebody. It was a way that started years.
No. People have been doing that. And
I'm probably not the first person to do this.
And my thing is when it comes to Robbie was this. I would say don't drop it. If you haven't dropped it, don't drop it. Don't let anybody see that, man. Because
who got it? Who leaked it?
My thing is don't give anybody anything negative to say about you for any reason. You're one of the best players in the state. You're one of the best players in a loaded class. You got one more year to handle your business. We all real hoop heads. We know what you are. Man, keep them people off your head, bro. Don't give nobody no reason to say nothing crazy to you.
Got my boy top 5 in the state.
He is.
I mean, that's. I mean,
it's
somebody that's ahead of him that I would put Robbie over.
I say when he get that cast off, he might bump up a few more spots.
I'm gonna keep it all the way real. It's because we always say playing hard is a skill.
Yeah, it is.
Playing hard is a skill. It's a couple people they had. I'm gonna say at least one that people might be shocked by, but from what I've seen this year, it's somebody in that top 3 that I'm not putting over Robbie. I'm sorry.
Can you name his name?
You gotta come to me. You gotta be
he ain't got the jewels.
You gotta be.
I mean, he on the list. Say his name.
You gotta be a gorilla.
Which list is he talking about?
Are you talking about Hoop Scene or are you talking about the other one?
I'm talking about Hoop Scene's list. And to me, you gotta be a gorilla. And what I said about Thurl, I said one of the few 2A schools that you could take and go play whatever 7A that you want.
True.
And the reason why you could go play whatever 7A that you want was because of Roman Son and Robbie. Roman Son was going to be able to handle a 7A guard, and Robbie was going to be able to handle what you had down low. Period.
You gotta give Rayshawn Frederick.
Rayshawn some credit as well.
You gotta give him credit.
No, I'm not saying that they didn't have a part to play in it. I'm saying that if you remove one of those 2 kids, it didn't matter who else was there. Like you can remove, again, not knocking that kid. I like Rayshawn Fredericks a lot. Wish him all the success. But if you remove Rayshawn Fredericks off that team, but you keep Robbie and Roman Son, you can still go take him and play 7A. Robbie a goon.
Hey, man. He got that Georgia Kane logo like that. I'm like, that's dope.
He been doing that all day, man. He been doing that all
day. I can't get it to work like I had on my Zoom earlier with it in the background. I gotta figure it out for Sunday.
Hey, we talking about. Look at
my man, bro. Look at my man, bro.
Look what happened with the internet working.
Hey, bro, look at my man. My man said, I'm only looking at Trent's list. If I'm not picking you up for our pickup game, I can't go off your list. I'm with you on that, bro. Some of them lists been crazy. Some of them lists been crazy.
That gets to my topic. Like,
now this
you have to have rankings. But if we start going back 5-10 years and you start looking at rankings, man, it don't matter. It don't matter, man.
It definitely don't.
For conversation.
Hey, bro. Hey, OG, Uncle Drew. I'm not looking at Cal Sandy list neither. Now I'll call that name out.
Well,
I'm not looking at Cal Sandy list either.
You can't look at his list. What you talking about?
I can.
What you talking about? You can't.
I can.
What you mean?
I can log in and look at. Hey, dog.
Certified
hey, dog.
block, man.
Hey, dog. Man. Hey, the scammer can't block everybody, bro. We know you. We know you ain't been in the gym. You ain't seen them kids. I ain't looking at that list either.
Oh man.
Hey man, that man block you, man. Get out that man.
Hey, scammers block a whole lot of people, dog. Then put it behind the paywall, dog.
Wow.
But no, that's my thing. When it comes to Robbie, it's kids that I will put him over. But I think we're gonna see. The proof
he said the list was free. Oh Lord, now that's funny.
The proof is in the pudding, man. I think we're gonna have another year to come out and prove it.
Blocked.
Block. Hey, I gotta get me a block t-shirt. I gotta get a block t-shirt, man. For all the folks that's blocked, man. Maybe we all get a hashtag block shirt.
Uncle Drew said the list was free.
Oh man.
Nah, that's funny.
But no, Robbie, hey man, don't give him a chance to say nothing bad about you, dog. We know what time it is. Just go kill. And please don't leave, man. Come on, man. Don't leave, though. Stay in the state. Stay in the state.
Go where?
So we can watch.
Go where? Where he should go.
Wherever he feel like is the best choice. But I mean, stay in the state. I just want to see him play. If a kid feel like they got a better opportunity, we ain't never on this show knock no kid for leaving or transferring or whatever or moving. If you feel like you're gonna move to a different area and get a real opportunity to go play somewhere and it's gonna be better for you, then you should do that.
Oh, he's taking somebody's spot.
For sure.
Hey man, Uncle Drew is on one tonight, boy.
Hey, my boy, hey man. Hey, that's when you quarantine, you be ready.
Hey, but look, I ain't even gotta say it because he's saying it for me. Hey man, internet scammers block people when they call them out. That's the first thing they do. Internet scammers block people.
He said him taking my ball home. Damn.
But man, we gotta get some guy. We do gotta figure out this prep school situation because it's gonna be on us to help kids.
No.
Hey, so what y'all think? One kid a week. We all highlight one kid a week, a 2020 kid that we're gonna try to help. Highlight on the show some plays.
One kid a week. We got 2 shows.
I mean, one kid a show. My bad.
They do 2
I'm used to one show a week.
We on the show for 2 hours. We can do more than one kid.
I ain't got nothing else to do but watch tape, so it's all right with me. It ain't like I got anything else to do.
We ain't helping no kid doing one kid a show.
Hey, what y'all think, man? We still got people in the comments, man. Y'all gonna send us some kids or what? Don't send us nobody that signed already either.
I got
signed already.
Oh, we have a ton of offers.
Yeah, if you signed already or you got a gang of offers, like this is not for you. We trying to help people get on who don't.
Film to see why.
Yeah, facts. Like we trying to help people who don't have nothing, man. Huff, what you think? You can do 2 kids a week?
I'm always down.
CPA also. Good. Correct, Uncle Drew.
Yeah,
I want to see. Hey, if I like the game film, if I like the highlight, you got to be ready to send me full film. Neither. Like I'm not falling for the pump fake.
I'm sending the number South Georgia, Middle Georgia kids.
They need help. I ain't mad at that.
Yeah.
And man, the first one needs to be the Colin Tarver kid. I'm challenging you on that, Locke.
Oh man, I was gonna do my kid from Americas.
Do both of them. You talk about doing 1-on-1.
I think Akeem, you got a good question.
Do one per class, 2020 to 2022.
Hey, no, we don't need to do
2020 is more important right now.
Yeah,
I think
2020 is way more important right now.
I agree. I think we will speed through with 4 of us doing 2 kids. You talking about 8 kids an episode. Eventually, we're gonna get through some of that 2020 list and maybe be able to do some 2021s or some 22s maybe at some point. We don't know how long we're gonna be quarantined, bro. So I'm not against it.
It's gonna be till what, May?
It's gonna be till May. It's gonna be till May 31st. Oh boy. Hey boy. Hey man. Look, I'm sitting here looking at both my kids and trying to figure out which one of them I'm gonna hand these clippers to.
All I can tell you is I got on the Zoom with my players today and I saw they hair and I was like, oh my gosh.
Hey bro, I kind of feel like DeJuan gonna mess up my hairline on purpose, bro.
Oh, you're gonna be bald, bro. You might as well just cut it off.
It's over for me, right?
Don't be surprised. I have braids and another butt. I have the cornrows.
Hey, can I go dreads at like?
Man, I had one of my players. They showed up on the Zoom today. They had locks. I was like, "What are you doing?"
That's what I. It's no haircut life ain't easy, dog.
I'm gonna show back up. I'm gonna have my dreads again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep. I ain't watching 15 minutes of highlights though. Can't lose.
Nah, they gotta be short, quick highlights.
Yeah, and then quick with the game film. Don't get me all juiced up on the highlight. Then I ask you for game film and it take you 10 days.
But what are we showing though? Because you ain't gonna be able to show the game film.
No, I'm cool with showing the highlight. I just want to know that I saw actual game film of a kid before I get on here and talk about them on the show.
I may already know 2 kids. I don't need to see their game film.
Yeah,
y'all might. I'm just saying for me. I'm just saying for me. Like, for me to feel comfortable, I gotta watch a couple of games worth of film. To me,
yeah, plenty of time.
Facts.
I know Mondre up at 4:00 in the morning watching. Somebody play. I forgot.
Bro, I don't even go to sleep. Like my sleep schedule is trash, bro. Like,
hey, Jerry be out there cone drilling.
Hey, I gotta get off the air, bro. I gotta get off the air, bro. Facts. Facts.
Facts. No cone drills up.
Get up. Do this cone drill. Do this drill right here.
Hey, fam, up at 4:00 in the morning, bro.
I just saw how in 1983 they were pivoting so well. So we gonna work on pivoting right now. That's what we gonna work on.
Facts, bro. Facts. Hey, dog. Hey, why was I watching? I was watching that Ohio State Florida National Championship, dog. Tweeting at like 3:00 in the morning, talking about, hey man, why was they wearing regular shorts? Or no. It was the 2010 championship game. It was Duke and Butler, which was a football game. They wasn't even a basketball game. But I was watching it like, bro, they had regular shorts in 2010. When did we start this roll-up shit?
Jaylen Brown did that.
That was Jaylen? We followed the dude that was dancing in the rain like that?
Man, see that? I heard that wasn't even him, man. I heard that wasn't even him dancing in the rain.
So,
Coach G, what up, boy? What up, G?
Jason Williams, White Charlton played for Marshall and
Hey, Lock.
Yeah.
When the restriction is lifted, you going to Club Wax?
Hey, Bryce in the theater room.
Yeah.
Hey, Bryce in the Hey, Bryce, we still on air, Bryce.
Hey, what is
Bryce?
What is that?
I don't know.
What is that?
Hey, Bryce went down.
The record store.
Hey, Bryce went down to the theater room and start talking reckless.
Y'all better get off this air.
Hey, man. Hey, that's our show for the day, man. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all kicking it with us. Hey, send me your highlights. Send me your film. Send me your tape. I do want to. And 2020, a prep kid, a JUCO kid, somebody that needs an opportunity. Don't send me somebody that got a bunch of offers. If you got a bunch of offers, don't send it to me, man. It's kids that need help, that don't have anything, that need some help. Don't send me your stuff if you're gonna turn down an NAI offer or a Division III opportunity. If you're gonna turn that down, don't send your stuff to me. But because we trying to help people that just want an opportunity to play at the next level, man. My boy talking reckless. My boy went to the theater room and where it got wild.
Hey, man. And I ain't going to wax. I might end up at Peaches. I'm out.
Hey, yes, sir. Hey, G, send me that. Send me them highlights from Josh, bro. Let's get Josh out there. So guys, everybody listening on if you're watching on YouTube, if this is what I love to see, bro. We'll take anything. We just trying to hoop. I'm with you.
Hey, my dude, Coach Allen. Hey, he had a good season out there in Columbus, man. He got some kids.
Let's go. Send them to us, Coach. For all my listeners, all of our international listeners, man, we love y'all. Appreciate Sweden for rocking with us. Everybody in China, man, bless y'all, man. We y'all know y'all got hit with this stuff as bad as we did. Everybody in Africa, appreciate y'all, man. All our listeners across the country, our SoundCloud listeners, man, we love y'all. YouTube and Twitter on this simulcast stuff, man. Y'all picked up and ran with it, man. Appreciate y'all so much. We out this thing.
We out.